We use a base 10 numbering system to write, compare, and compute with numbers. In this video, we will explore how to round whole numbers using place value. Let's start with an example. Rounded to the nearest dime, how much money do these coins equal? Use place value to round to the nearest tens place. First, since we are asked to round to the nearest tens place, we will be counting these coins as whole numbers, not as decimals. So we arrange the numerical information presented in a table that is arranged by place value. Beneath the table, you see the 2 pennies, 2 dimes, 2 quarters, and 1 nickel. The amount of money this represents is 77 cents. We complete the table by putting a 7 in the tens place and a 7 in the ones place. To round to the nearest tens, let's look at the value in the ones place. The digits in the ones place can go from 0 to 9. In rounding, if a digit is less than 5, then we round down to 0. If the digit is 5 or more, we round up to 10. With a 7 in the ones place, rounding means rounding up to 10. Here's what this means. The digit in the ones place becomes 0. And we add 1 to the digit in the tens place, as shown here. Combining the 2 digits in the tens place, we get 8. So 77, rounded to the nearest tens place, is 80. Let's look at another example. Rounded to the nearest tens place, how much money is this? Rounded to the nearest hundred, use place value to round. We will set up a place value table like the one shown here. This has values for hundreds, tens, and ones. First, we organize the bills by type and quantity. There are 4 $20 bills, 3 $10 bills, 2 $5 bills, and 3 $1 bills. Next, we calculate the amount of money each set of bills represents. There are 4 times 20, plus 3 times 10, plus 2 times 5, plus 3 times 1, for a total of 123 as shown here. We place 1 in the hundreds place, 2 in the tens place, and 3 in the ones place. First, we need to round to the nearest 10. To do that, look at the value in the ones place. Since the value is less than 5, we round the value down to 0. So 123 rounded to the nearest 10 is 120, as shown here. Finally, we need to round to the nearest hundred, so let's go back to the original sum of 123. To round to the nearest hundred, look at the value in the tens place. Since the value is less than 5, we round the value down to 0. So 123 rounded to the nearest hundred is 100, as shown here. Let's look at a final example. The bill at a restaurant was $47. Suppose you want to leave a $15 tip. To the nearest dollar, how much of a tip should you leave? A simple way of finding 15% of a number is to break the calculation into 2 simpler ones. Calculating 10% and then calculating 5%. Let's use this table to make these separate calculations. 10% of $47 is $4.70. And half of this value is the 5%, or $2.35. Combining these terms, we get $7.05. Rounding to the nearest dollar, we get $7. An alternate way of doing this is to round the original amount in order to simplify the calculations even more. So the 47 is rounded to the nearest 10 to get 50. 10% of 50 is 5. And half of that is 250. The sum is 750. Rounding that to the nearest dollar results in $8. The second method results in a slightly higher tip, but it is a simpler calculation, one that you can do mentally. The first calculation is more precise, but involves some additional calculation. As an additional calculation, try to figure out what the percent of the tip was for the second method.